Welcome to an all-new season of American Airgunner. I'm Rossi Morielli, and this year I'm going to be your guide as we step even further into the world of air guns. This season, we've got all new contestants for our Airgunner Challenge, and they are ready to compete to become the next American Airgunner. We're also going to travel the country and talk to industry experts and find out why this is one of the fastest growing sports in the world. So, whether you're new to the world of air guns or you've seen it all and done it all, this season, we've got something for everybody. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the only show that's all about air guns. Welcome to American Airgunner. Hey, Coach, I don't know if you lost this, but I found it.
Awesome.
You have plenty of trophies in that room back there.
We do, 13 of them. Hey, and it says national champion.
This is awesome. How long has the team been here, first of all? How long has there been a NCAA women's rifle team here? 91-92 school year is when it turned to NCAA, all women. So how many girls compete throughout the year? Like how many girls are on a team at a time? It varies from year to year. This year I have 13 on the roster. Some of those are scholarships, some of those are girls that just walked in the door and said, hey, I want to pick this sport up. I didn't even know that you could get a scholarship to be on a rifle team, and that's something I was never told when I was in high school. Well, there's some national championship competitions, and all the coaches are going to those competitions, the NCAA coaches, and they're scoping out these juniors who are coming up. And I understand you have some like Olympians on your team right now, right? We do. Sarah Shear. Yeah. 2012 Olympian. That had to be a proud moment for you though too, to like have someone on your team that went to the Olympics. Oh, it is, yeah, awesome. That is really the ultimate goal, is to get to that stage. I've even heard that there's a like a uniform with like a leather suit of sorts. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. It's part of the equipment. Yeah, it's just something that kind of helps you hold that rifle still. What you're shooting at, to score a 10, and that's the ultimate goal, is to hit the 10 ring. That 10 ring is the size of a period at the end of a sentence. It is really small. Tell me about some of the girls on your squad. Should I be looking out for and get a chance to meet today? You know, there are 3 seniors on this team that have really defined the success of this team. And number 1 and number 2 have got to be the 2 Sarahs, Sarah Shear and Sarah Beard. They're at the top academically on this team. They're the leaders. Sarah Shear was on the Olympic team. She finished 7th. Wow. Air rifle. They both were on the 2010 World Championship team, which was in Munich, and they walked away from that as world champions. Wow. So very successful athletes. You're going to get to know a couple of our freshmen. There's Hannah Black. We have also Catherine Green, who she's been on a national team before, and she hopes to requalify here coming up in June at the national championship.
Well, when I was 9 and my brother was 11, we both started shooting together at a local range. It was back in Boston where I grew up. And one of our family friends introduced us to the sport. My brother wanted to be in the military, and he decided that, why not try to get involved? And I was little sister tagging along, basically.
Right before my freshman year of high school, my dad had a midlife crisis and he wanted to get a gun, protect the house. So we found this club by my house, and they had a junior program. So he's like, well, my kids might as well come. So he took my brother and I thought it was pretty cool, and I liked beating the boys and my brother.
I've been shooting guns about pretty much my whole life, but this specific competition style, I've been competing since about sophomore year of high school. It all starts with my dad. He was a shooter, and he actually shot with my coach here at TCU. At some competition in Ohio, said, you know what, you should talk to Karen Monez because she's coach here. And I thought, yeah, right, like I'm gonna shoot on a college team, that's a big joke. But he said, no, you should do it. And so I went ahead and did it, and it just ended up working out from there.
Shotgun shooting one day in middle school, and he said he wanted to take me because he wanted me to hang out with him before he thought I was too cool to hang out with my old man. So we went shotgun shooting one day, and he noticed that I really liked it, and so he looked into scholarships and everything, and he found out that you could get a rifle scholarship.
If there's one thing out there that most people don't know about these student athletes or these competitions, what is it?
To be at this level, I mean, it takes such tenacity and competitiveness. You got to be driven to do this, and you got to have a passion for it. and they do.
Now don't go anywhere, because later in the show, we'll be hanging out and getting to know the ladies from the TCU shooting team. But coming up next is the very first installment of our new segment, The Round Table. And later, we'll meet this season's Airgunner Challenge contestants, so stick around. All right, it's time for our American Airgunner Trivia, brought to you this year by our friends at Blue Book Publications. American Airgunner is sponsored by Umarex, Zeroed In, and Pyramid Air, the world's largest retailer of air guns. All right, welcome to a new segment here on American Airgunner we like to call the Round Table, where I sit down with some of the industry's top minds, you're welcome, gentlemen, and talk about some of the new technologies happening in the world of air guns. Today, I'm sitting here with Rick Usler, who is our resident kind of critic and reviewer of guns.
Yes, sir. I review air guns for all kinds of different manufacturers and vendors. I post YouTube videos, about 3 a month, and I really deal in that product category that's common man. You pull it off the shelf, take it out in the backyard and shoot it. That's really the market that I spend most of my time reviewing.
We're also joined by Jim Chapman, who is our kind of our hunter. You are our hunter. You've hunted everything from big to little, you name it, huh?
Yeah, I hunt large game, small game, use all types of air guns, hunt in the U.S., all over multiple states and overseas as well.
And then, of course, we're joined by Tom Gaylord, who has been called the grandfather of air guns. I know, Tom, I apologize, but you're kind of an overall air gun enthusiast.
That's right. I've been with air guns since the 1970s, when I was introduced to them in Germany when I was in the Army. I found out they were way better than I thought they were as a kid. And ever since then, I've just been an enthusiast.
All right, guys, I got to stop us here. That is it for this segment of Round Table. Thanks for being with us, guys. All right, coming up after the break, we are going to spend the day with the TCU women's rifle team. You do not want to miss it. Go Horned Frogs! Ow!
I just fell in love with the sport, you know, from first off. I just loved the concentration aspect. I loved how unique and different it was. It wasn't like any other sport I ever tried. I always had been, involved in athletics, but this was something very unique and different, and I really liked it.
When I came on the team, I really wasn't that great, and that's why I wasn't expecting to be able to come here, because my scores weren't nearly as high as like the people I knew who were coming and the people who were already on the team. Freshman year, my only goal was to make the traveling team. I lived on the range the first year, and it was my life. It was like knee deep in brass is what they call it. And I just shot all the time, and I got a lot better.
I started with sporter air rifle, which is when you just have the gun, you don't have any of the equipment. You have a glove and a sling, and that's it.
My junior year, I was really dedicated to the sport, and I really was looking at colleges, and I went, ooh, TCU. I had wanted to go to TCU since the beginning of my senior year, but my mama said, no, you have to have scholarships to go to TCU. So if you want to, you need a rifle scholarship and an academic scholarship, or else you don't go. And I was like, so I studied my butt off and shot really hard, and I ended up getting both scholarships so I could go.
TCU has everything that I wanted. So like my major, and it's Texas, that's pretty cool. They have it was a national championship team.
It's a lot of work. Obviously it's time, dedication, but it's not even just the amount of time on the range, it's you making sure that you are giving your most in every single minute of practice.
You have to start kind of at the bottom, I guess you could say, and you work your way up, and you practice your best and your hardest and give it your all on the line. Even on the days you're just dragging your feet and you don't want to practice, you always have to keep your focus.
When shooting, it's a really unique sport where if you really want it, you can go far. And so I just, would encourage high schoolers to just keep at it. If you love it, keep at it.
For high school kids that are interested, start contacting local gun clubs. Talk to your ROTC instructors at your school, because some of them are actually qualified to be able to start a rifle team.
Young shooters really want to shoot on a collegiate team. They just gotta keep shooting, practice, even when you don't want to, because there's days you don't want to practice, still keep going to the range.
Shooting's a lot of fun, and I wouldn't be scared of it just because it's a gun. It's something that you get, it's one of the most safe sports out there.
Never second guess yourself. You know, there's no reason to. You know what your potential is. You know, don't let anybody hold you back, including yourself, basically. You know, excel, 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 because you can.
You want to see more of TCU's women's shooting team? Well, don't worry, because a little later in the season, yours truly will be going head-to-head against Catherine Green to see if I can hold my own against one of the TCU Horned Frogs. But coming up next, we're going to meet our 6 new contestants for this year's Airgunner Challenge. Don't go anywhere. All right, it's competition time, which means a whole new season of the Airgunner Challenge. This time, it's going to be bigger, badder, and a whole lot more explosive. We got a group of wild contestants that are ready to go, and every gun you can imagine, from rifles to pistols to PCPs and everything in between. I know I'm ready. Are you guys ready? Yeah! Before we can get to the competitions, we got to get to know our shooters. Let's get it on.
I was born and raised out in the middle of nowhere. I actually grew up on the same property as my dad grew up as a child. I love to just be outside, riding four-wheelers, going mudding, rafting, anything like that. I've been shooting since I was about 6 or 7. My dad's always had guns. The contestants are interesting, very different in all kinds of characters there. A lot of them seem to know a lot of like specs on the guns and things like that, and I'm just kind of like, whatever, I don't know any of that stuff, so I'm just gonna shoot, see where it lands. I'm gonna give it my best shot, no pun intended.
Well, I shoot cowboy action with my wife. She's a violinist, they call her Amadeus Annie. I used to teach nightsticks amongst other things and police work. And they call me Bat Masterful. We all have aliases, and some of them are serious, but not too many. We live in Republic, Missouri. It's a little town just outside of Springfield, Missouri. I've been interested in air guns ever since a NATO cruise in '69, I think, when I run across some guns in Germany that weren't your normal, run-of-the-mill air guns. They were just really fine pieces of machinery, and I've been loving them ever since.
My name is Tristan, also known in the rap game as Mr. Loco, aka Lope the Smoke. I live in Fairfield, California. I'm originally from Marin County in California. Got my first Red Ryder BB gun when I was 5 years old. Just recently in 2011, I really got into it again when a friend of mine gave me a break barrel air rifle. And since then I got hooked, and now I got 7 air guns.
I'm from Gillette, Wyoming, a little coal community. Originally never was allowed guns as a child. A lot of Nerf, thanks Mom. And I ended up joining the military, and they taught me how to shoot a rifle. And then from there I just started picking up air guns because they were cheaper. And now I shoot air guns, firearms, basically anything I can get my hands on.
I'm from Adrian, Michigan. I'm down in the southeast corner of the state of Michigan. I am a 10-year, 7-month, 4 days of duty, both active and reserve time in the Marine Corps. I originally started shooting through the Marine Corps. I'm not an expert marksman, I'm not a scout sniper, I'm just an everyday average shooter. And hopefully when I win the $5,000, I'm going to upgrade into the PCPs.
Born and raised right here in Arkansas. Brought up around guns, gun safety. Mom, Dad both taught us gun safety. Started out with BB guns, graduated up to pellet guns, then 22s. So I'm actually in the reverse of that right now with my son. I love challenge. I'm a competitor. I fished professionally for the last 4 or 5 years. As long as I can remember, I've been a competitor, from high school football to fishing, now to the American Airgunner.
I love learning about air guns. I love going to the expos. I love going to the gun shows. I love meeting all the people. But what I really like is competition.
I like to see the guns in action. I like to see people shooting them, and I can't wait to see what these guys can do with all these guns in all the different varieties we're going to put them in of shooting situations. It's going to be great, and someone is going to come out on top, and I can't wait to see who's going to be the American Airgunner champion. Coming up next week, we will see our all-new contestants compete in the first Airgunner Challenge of the season. We'll see you next week, right here on American Airgunner.